So let's start with you introducing yourself.
Hey, my name is Shante Hill. Right now, I'm currently known as Coach Serenity, so that's what guys that see me on a lot of platforms.
Okay, Coach Serenity.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you originally grow up, or where you from?
Well, I am from Chicago, Illinois, but I grew up here in St. Paul, Minnesota. So I'm well known in St. Paul on the east side.
So how would you describe your childhood?
I would describe it as definitely survival. We had a lot of survival living and techniques, but I'm grateful at the same time too with my childhood. But a lot of like learning curves too, from learning from others and my parents and stuff.
So do you have any siblings?
Yep, I have 8 siblings, so it's 5 girls, 3 boys.
Are they all around the same age or around your age? Are they adults now?
No, yeah, we all grown now.
Okay.
But the oldest one is almost 60, close to 60. And the youngest one is like 32. Yeah, somewhere around there.
So are you close to them?
Yeah, I'm about close to all my siblings. We kind of grew up really close together, so.
So tell me about your parents. Were they married? How long were they together?
So from my understanding with my parents, I was raised in a single mother family home. So my parents was not together. I don't really know much about my father. So that's pretty much from my parents.
So you never met your dad?
No, I don't recall, no.
Okay. Is there anything that's happened like in those early times that may have changed you to who you are today?
Yes, I've seen a lot of things I didn't like. So I do come from a background of a family a drug addict background. So that was one awareness for me to not go down. And then 2, I just seen like a lot of trauma in my family that I just did not want to do as I grew up. So it was just like the separatedness with some of like my mom and her siblings not being close together, not being so supportive. Just a lot, honestly. The typical black thing you see.
And then after kind of childhood, what kind of kid were you in high school?
I was definitely what you would call like a little gangster nerd, like a smart girl that was nerdy but still had the little gangster side to her too. So I was definitely a school girl.
So you get like good grades?
Yes.
Like A/B student?
Yes, I graduated from Central High School, so shout out to Central. Yeah, I was definitely a A/B girl student. I received awards, certificates, almost all of it. Anything that had something to do with education, I was like there for it, all the way there for it.
So after high school, what did you do once you graduated? What was next?
So after I graduated, I did go to college. Just only went to some, but I always had a burning desire for making my own money. At the time, I now know it's called entrepreneurship. But at the time back then, when I was 18, I didn't know it was called entrepreneurship. I just knew I had a burning desire to make my own money and not work for nobody.
So what type of things did you do to kind of create your own money?
I was doing hair. I was babysitting. Mm-hmm. I watched almost everybody kids growing up. Also, I worked like 2-3 jobs at a time whenever I can. I always kept myself busy and working. And then I was always going to like business seminars. So like real estate seminars and stuff that's in that category and field.
So do you have any kids now?
Yep, I am now 3 kids in. So I got 2 boys and 1 girl. a daughter that's 10 and two little boys. So I'm grateful for them.
So how has your past had an influence on you as a mother now?
Ooh, that's a big one. So I'm very influenced by my past. I'm mainly influenced by it because I tried to figure out all of the bad behaviors and the toxicity that I grew up in. I didn't want to bring that into my motherhood with me and my kids. So I grew up in a household where we would emasculate women. Emasculate men. So, and I didn't want to pour that onto my sons or even pour it onto my daughter and make her think that that was cool to do to men.
Yeah.
So I was looking like within some of the ways that I was grew up, and I didn't want to pour into my adulthood.
So as you know, as little girls, I know uh, having fathers and having that positive male role model is important. How do you feel like the lack of a father has affected you as an adult?
The lack of father definitely has affected me because it showed up in my relationship life. And for my relationship life, it definitely has its woes. So, I didn't know how to pick like great men. Then if I did pick somebody great, it was always just the small things I didn't understand, like how to understand a man, how to talk to a man, how to treat a man, or how to be loved back correctly by a man, how to not give in to a man so much, how to not people please. So it was a lot that I could have learned if a father was in the household that I had to learn on my own with mistakes. Well, lessons, I should say, with a lot of lessons.
So talking about your, since we're kind of going into relationships, uh, how has that affected relationships, romantic relationships? Any domestic violence history, anything that could kind of have an effect from not having a father?
Oh, yeah, by me knowing myself and realizing that I was moving too fast. And so me not having a father in the household, I didn't know to give myself grace or like the correct steps on how to move or how to get over a breakup. So that really led me to a lot of trials and tribulations. And I have experienced domestic violence as well. But by the grace of God, I didn't experience it at like a level 10. It was more like a level 1 for me. So I'm grateful for that. But I do come from a family background where domestic violence is heavily involved.
So throughout your life, I know there are people who may have hurt you and had negative impacts. So this is kind of opportunity to talk about the positive and the positive people you've had in your life. So can you talk about any positive people who had an impact in your life?
Yes, honestly, it was a lot of like teachers and mentors that I kind of looked towards for like a positive impact. It wasn't much family wise. So it was more like the people I seen in school and colleges or like friends, families that was like in like the wealthier neighborhoods. So that's where I get most of my positivity from.
Okay. So what would you say is your greatest strength or kind of like your best quality?
My greatest strength is definitely perseverance and resilience because I don't believe in giving up. I believe in looking at the bigger picture and keep going.
So you feel like anything that has negatively happened in your life was your fault?
I used to when I became a single mother. I did. That was the main thing I used to feel like was my fault because I didn't choose somebody that could have been in a family household to raise the kids. But eventually, as I went on to this healing journey, I did heal that. So,
Um, so have you ever went to therapy, or kind of what is your thoughts about therapy? Do you think it helps? You think it's something you would recommend to other people?
yes, I would definitely highly recommend therapy to other people. So I am still new to therapy, but also I booked a lot of coaching sessions with different coaches. And I met with different mentors, and honestly, that's what helped change me.
Mm-hmm.
Life coaches.
Oh, life coaches?
Yeah, so I am new to the therapy world, but I definitely recommend therapy, but definitely life coaches as well, too. I was able to see the picture a little bit more with clarity.
And just going back to the single mother, tell me more about kind of your experience being a single mom?
So my experience definitely have is good and bad. So, the biggest thing that I want to apply with my experiences, with me diving deep into this healing journey, it definitely allowed and led me to teach my daughter how to express herself emotionally wise, which was something I was never able to do as a kid. So she's able to voice herself. Some of the downfalls will be just not having a big enough support system. So I have a great support system, but I know I don't have the best or the biggest support system like I would preferred if it was two people versus just one. And then you kind of do lack self-love a little bit because you're like the main parent and you don't get much of a break.
Yeah, I know it's kind of difficult, especially just when you want to have some you time.
Yeah, you don't get much you time to yourself, so that'd be like the downfall. Yeah, you do, but like I said, I'm grateful because I have a support team, and I know there's people out there that don't have that, so I'm grateful for the way my journey was.
So when someone says generational trauma, what does it mean, and in what ways you think you kind of broke generational trauma?
Oh, I'm glad we talked about this subject right here. So when it comes to generational trauma, all that means is getting, to me preferably, it means getting to know the family you grew up in, which is your mom and then your mom's mom. What did they go through? What hindered them? What made them scared to talk about some of the experiences they went through? And you take that and you break those cycles and those habits. So that's what generational trauma means to me, is to break the cycles I grew up in. And some of mine were domestic violence. It was emasculating men. It was also not having enough self-love and lack of failure.
With generational trauma, do you think that you've done things to kind of break that?
Oh, yes. I've done more than enough to break it. I can today walk in my emotional intelligence and feel 100% good at it versus hiding it. I used to hide it. And then also I'm self-aware, so I can respond to things out here, like experiences or people, things that's meant to take you out your blessing or take you out of your element or your glow. I can respond versus react.
Okay. And in the email, when you were kind of telling me about your story a little bit, you mentioned that you had a spiritual awakening in 2019. Tell me kind of more about that and kind of what came of that.
Okay, yeah, so in 2019, this is crazy. So, of course, it did come from another just failed bad relationship, but not so more of the relationship, more of just like the person that I was just around. I just didn't understand their mindset, and I just woke up just feeling just tired of all this shit. Like, it got to be more to life. It got to be better choices. Like, how do I get to the other side where I'm trying to go in life? And I was just overwhelmed and just exhausted with my current stage of life.
So any messages you would have to anyone who may have had similar life experiences, or maybe going through similar life experiences now?
Yep. Give yourself grace. Take full accountability. Always tell yourself the truth. And don't be scared to go on this healing journey. Book you a session with a coach, a therapist, all of it. It will help you. It will help bring more clarity to your life, because that's what helped me. You need more clarity.
So through it all and experiences, what's some important lessons you've learned so far in life?
That's a really good one. So I would say one of my best important lessons that I have learned in life is to keep going. Never give up. No matter what's thrown your way, keep going. It will get better. It's just bad right this second. It's not going to be bad forever. So that's one of my biggest lessons I've learned.
Okay. And kind of what do you have going on today, and kind of what work are you in now?
So I am still your best gift basket expert out here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Just so y'all know, Mary Key Rose, check me out. But I am now transitioning to being a full-time transformational coach. So that is a new walk of path for me, but something that I'm highly excited for and ready for. And it's something I've been doing since I was a kid, but I'm just now fully stepping into my calling. So I'm trying to get all those things ready for everybody to catch me on the platforms with that, with Talks with Serenity, Coach Serenity, and also Shante Success Strategies.
Okay. And in what ways you think that your story will help others? Or do you hope it to help others?
Well, I'm hoping my story to help others, especially ladies that walk in my shoes of lack of failure as a single mother, to know that you can overcome anything. It's okay to start over. It's okay to understand you and your family trauma and go into a healing journey. But mainly, just keep persevering and keep going. So I want to teach you that you can keep going. And if you're struggling, book a session with Coach Serenity.
All right. Well, I do appreciate the taking the time and hearing your story.
Thank you.
I know it's gonna help other women, other young girls who may have dealt with different generational traumas and domestic violence, single motherhood, and things like that.
Yes.
So I really appreciate it, and hopefully we get your story out and help others.
Yeah, I definitely would love to get my story out and to let women know to keep going and don't feel bad, that and to really know that anything that you feel rejected from is really God's protection for you. I had to learn about rejection and understand it and know that it's actually a good thing and not a bad thing.
All right. Well, thank you.
Shyness. So I got a podcast I want to do too, but I'm so shy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mainly want to talk about identity crisis and lack of failure, and just the emotions that surrounds that or whatever the case.